Now that I am no longer standing inside the smoke of it, now that the house has stopped burning and I've quit mistaking ash for weather, I can see you clearly. Not cruelly, clearly. And maybe that is what hurts most. Because clarity does not come with hatred in its hands. Sometimes it comes quietly, barefoot through the wreckage, with soot on its hem and mercy in its mouth, holding both grief and gratitude like two candles it refuses to blow out. Sometimes clarity is not a sword. Sometimes it is a lantern carried through a ruined castle where you finally see the cracks in the stone, the rot beneath the ivy, the places where moonlight made damage look romantic. I can see the truth of you now. You were never a kingdom, not really. You were a weather-worn house at the edge of an old road, a tired little dwelling with work done on the inside, new paint over old walls, soft lighting over tired floors, a place made warmer by effort, by stubbornness, by the human need to make something broken feel livable. You were never marble, never gold, never some shining estate the world would envy from the road. You were not a castle with banners lifting in the morning. You were not some prince riding out of a myth with silver at your wrists and a kingdom behind your name. You were bills on the counter, long shifts, multiple jobs, a life held together by tired hands, cheap coffee, late nights, and the desperate prayer that nothing else would break before payday. You were not some grand prize by the world's shallow measurements. No gates, no fortune, no sweeping staircase, no life so breathtaking I would have abandoned my sense just to stand inside it. And honey, let me be gentle here because I'm not trying to make a weapon out of what never mattered. It was not anything physical that kept me there. It was not some earthly hunger, not some shallow spell, not some foolish measurement people whisper about when they do not understand the soul of a thing. You were human, ordinary, flesh and flaw. Nothing about you on that level was the reason I stayed, and still, that was never the point. It was not your money. It was not your house. It was not your body. It was never the kind of thing that could make a woman lose herself unless something far deeper had already opened the door. It was you, or what I believed was you. It is the truth that I keep coming back to, even when I am angry enough to burn every bridge and salt the road behind me. I was not dazzled by what you had. I was drawn to who I thought you were, the man who answered, the man who listened, the man who remembered, the man who called, the man who showed up in the ways that I had been starving for. You were my best friend. 3 years. 3 years of phone calls, venting, laughing, asking for advice, talking through ordinary troubles until ordinary became sacred. 3 years of familiar voices and inside jokes. 3 years of small kindnesses like wildflowers on the windowsill of my life. 3 years of showing up in the quiet human ways that become holy because no one notices that they are becoming holy until it is too late. We were not built in one reckless night. We were built slowly, conversation by conversation, trust by trust, need by need, lonely hour by lonely hour. We were built in the spaces where people tell the truth because they do not think their hearts are listening. We were built where friendship first feels harmless, where two people stand on opposite sides of a glowing line and call it warmth, not fire, where the moon is too silver, the road is too quiet, and the heart, foolish little creature, starts collecting meaning before wisdom can stop it. At first, we showed up like friends do. That is the dangerous part. Friends do not always see the enchantment forming around their names. They do not always notice when comfort grows roots. They do not always hear the first hinge creak open inside the forbidden door. They do not always see the line beneath their feet until they have crossed it and the whole field has caught fire behind them. You became the person I wanted to call when something went wrong. You became the person I wanted to tell when something went right. You became the steady voice on the other end of my confusion. You became comfort. You became habit. You became shelter. You became the little cottage light my heart walked toward when the world went dark. You became a place my heart went before my mind could warn it not to. And I am humble enough now to admit that I was blind to things I should have seen. Not because I was stupid, not because I did not care, not because I was trying to build a home on someone else's land, but because a best friend is not measured the same way a significant other is. A best friend can show up in fragments and still feel whole. A best friend can answer the phone, buy dinner, buy drinks, ask if you need farm fresh eggs, make you laugh, sit with your pain, and somehow still feel like proof of character. A best friend can meet your emotional needs so beautifully that you begin to believe they would know how to love you in every other way too. But a relationship asks for more than tenderness in private. It asks for presence in daylight. It asks for courage, consistency, protection, provision, honesty when honesty costs something. It asks a man to show up physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, publicly, not just in candlelight, not just in secret, not just when the world is quiet and no one is asking him to choose, not just when it feels good, not just when he is lonely, not just when he needs somewhere soft to lay down the parts of himself his real life has neglected. Love is not only the whispered vow beneath the ivy. Love is the hand at the door when dawn comes. Love is the truth spoken when the village is listening. Love is the man who does not hide the woman he has made sacred. And that is where the question begins to haunt me. If this had become my life, would this have been my future too? Would I have been the woman waiting on the back burner while you fed another loneliness somewhere else? Would I have become the one you loved in name while you poured your soul into someone easier to reach? Would I have sat in the house you painted beautiful, wondering why the warmth kept leaving through another window? Would I have mistaken your emotional availability for devotion when maybe it was only escape? Because yes, you showed up for me. You did. I will not lie about that. Just because I am hurt. You bought the lunches, you paid the dinners, you brought the drinks, you offered what you could in the ways that felt thoughtful at the time. You asked if I needed anything. You remembered little things. You made me feel considered. And emotionally, God damn. Emotionally, you showed up so much that it changed the weather inside me. You were not a castle, but you felt like a hearth. You were not a prince, but you knew how to sound like rescue. You were not made of gold, but for a while your attention glittered in the dark places where I had forgotten I deserved light. That is how we fell in love.